you okay here? Am I okay, or you want to move
Yeah.
somewhere else?
You're good, you're good.
All right. So, yeah.
Since you talked about New Zealand, any particular players to watch in New Zealand?
Well, yeah. I mean, Corey Webster's there, the NBA guy, and he's going to be a guy that we're going to have to be attentive to. He can change a game. He gets hot, he gets rolling. He can really change the game. They bring in a lot more size than they have in the past. They got a couple guys that are 6'11", 7 feet, and they hadn't had those in the past. They've been on their kind of their youth team, the younger players, and now they're being brought up. And so this team looks a lot more, if I may say, they're a little bit younger but more athletic. Again, the coach is brand new. He's brought 3 or 4 of his players along, so there's going to have continuity. And I just think that this is their first game together as a group. And I remember our first game when we played, in Hong Kong, and when we first got together, and there was a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, and we were raring to play. So we expect that from them as well. They'll know us a little bit better because they've seen us in the OQT. They've seen us in some of our windows already. So in that regard, they're going to have a little bit of an advantage. But we have had that continuity over this last year, and that might bode us well as well.
Coach, sorry, you mentioned that this year is going to be a trial and error. How can you see this roster integrating or gluing with your system?
Well, I mean, that's why we've kept it together. That's why we've kept the pool small and not expanded the pool, because we don't have the extended time to teach all the time. So, the days of 4 to 6 weeks or 8 weeks of preparation time for a tournament, those days are over, because that's not the way FIBA is done now. It's all done in these small windows. So you have small prep, because they're small windows. You have small prep time, and so this is the way that we foresee the program working in terms of how the FIBA does things these days. Even when we go into FIBA Asia in August next year in Jeddah, we're still only going to have like 7-8 days of prep for that as well. We just don't. We can't bring the guys in from Japan, and we can't bring, and have these, like when we had the World Cup this last time in 2023. We went to went to Lithuania and Estonia, and went to China. We traveled around. We were together for 5, 6, 7 weeks, and but that's just not available to us anymore. So now we have to make do with the way we do it, and that means smaller pools. Like New Zealand also is doing the same thing. Their pool is 15 guys. They don't have a big pool as well, because they know they don't have the prep time as well. They're just like us. So we have integrated this program, this lineup already, through the 2 windows that we have already played. So we're hoping to reap the benefits of that going into this next tournament, as opposed to having different players and having to reteach it. Now it's all about elevating. It's not about teaching. It's about elevating the knowledge of the players. And again, that's basically the only way we really see we can be efficient in terms of doing this. I would love to have, personally, I would love to have a bigger pool, but it just wouldn't be an efficient way of our using our time, the short times that we have together.
Coach, after Game 6, you've got to talk to Brownlee, and we asked him about Gilas. He said he just needs some time to move on before he goes to practice.
Exactly.
And then earlier you told us, he's highly motivated when you talked to him. Can you tell me what that conversation was like with Brownlee just days before he goes back to practice for Gilas?
Well, I think the key was that he just needed time to rest his body and his mind, and 8-9 days doesn't seem like a lot of time, and it's not. But I think for Justin, it's enough. I know him well. I've known him for the last 6-7 years. I see how he recovers, and and I think that he'll be primed. And you know, he's not exactly happy about the way he played. I'm not happy about the way we played. I'm not happy about the way I coached. I got into a lot of uncomfortable situations during that finals that were uncomfortable to me, that was forced on me because of the way Talk and Text was playing, and you know, the lack of personnel that we had in terms of some of the injuries that we had. So you know, I'm motivated to bounce back, but even more so, Justin's motivated to bounce back. So and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to having him. And whenever like I said, when I have a motivated Justin, watch out, you know. I don't want to give New Zealand, because they're going to be listening. They're going to be reading everything you guys say in the press about what I'm saying. You can be sure of that. So I don't want to, you know, I don't want to motivate them too much. And so, you know, the bottom line is, I think Justin's just going to be ready to play. And that doesn't mean he puts up big numbers. That means he's going to be locked into what we do, getting his teammates involved, and playing the game the right way, and which he does 99% of the time.
Coach, is LA Tagorio still included in your coaching staff?
Yes, he is. He is included. He has some health-related things that he has to do during the window. He's going to be missing a couple of days because he has to go back to Singapore for a couple of checkups. He, you know, has checkups every 6 months or so. Just happens to be right during the window. But he should be either on the bench or right behind the bench when the games start. He'll be a part of the staff and part of the preparation. He will miss a few days in the Inspire camp while we're there, though.
And Coach Shan Chambers is officially.
Yes, Sean will be there, and looking forward to getting Sean back. He's a lot of fun to have, and players love him, and I think the players are all excited about him being on the staff as well. He brings just you know Sean, and you know his personality. He just brings a breath of fresh air all the time when he's around. He's never very stifling when he's around. He's fun.
Coach, you mentioned earlier that Coach Alfrancis is joining the pitch.
We're hoping.
What will be his role if ever?
Oh, I mean, Al is Al. I mean, Alfrancis is. I mean, he's like I say, he's a special motivator, and you know, whether from a management point or from sitting on the bench and added to the coaching, you know, he's just a tremendous motivator, and I feel very comfortable around him because I know he has my back all the time, you know, and I think that's always important to have guys who feel like he has your back. He always has my back, and the players trust him as well, and you know, he knows how to treat players. He knows how to again, I use that word motivate, but it goes beyond that. You know, he's very relational with the players, and I see that obviously with Ginebra. You know, I see that with San Miguel and Magnolia as well, but I see it more up close with Ginebra. And you know, his impact in the Asian Games, in which we won the gold. I mean, I've said it in the past, but he was much more responsible for winning that gold than anybody else in the whole, including myself, including Justin. He was one of the huge reasons why we won that gold. So I'm hoping and that he is going to be on the bench come the 21st. I have my fingers crossed.
Coach, Jun Mar is going to play his first game in the Asia Cup qualifiers.
Say again?
Jun Mar is going to play his first game in the Asia qualifiers because he got injured in the previous window. So how huge is that against New Zealand?
Jun Mar.
Yeah, Jun.
He got injured. Oh, when they played with was with Nenad?
Taipei game. No,
Oh,
Taipei
you're talking about the first window.
because he didn't play in
Yeah.
in that window.
Yeah, but
Then
he
played in the
OQT, and you know, he was a dominant player in the OQT, and we're expecting him to be a dominant player come this window. He's our mainstay. He's one of our big go-to guys, and You see the way he affects the game with San Miguel, when the difference is when he plays and when he doesn't play. And it's the same with Gilas. He affects the game when he doesn't play. So he's going to give us our inside presence. And the nice thing is that Kai and Jun Mar are developing a chemistry in which they can play together. And that's really unusual to get 2 5-man and allow them to play together. And that's a credit to Kai's versatility and his character in terms of, I'm comfortable at the 5, but I will go play the 4 and be uncomfortable so that Jun Mar can stay at the 5. So it's a really good rotation. We have the 2 of them that can play together, and then when Jun Mar rests, Kai can swing to the 5. And when Jun Mar comes back, Kai can swing back to the 4. And so we have a constant. That was what was missing when we played Brazil in the semifinals of the OQT when Kai got injured. We didn't have that ability to do that, and it really wore out Jun Mar. By that time, it was already the 3rd or 4th game that we've had, so it was a tough road for him. Kai's presence makes it a lot easier. AJ's presence would make it so much nicer, but it doesn't look like we're going to get AJ. I was so excited we're going to have AJ this time, and then just yesterday or the day before, we heard about his knee, and that the Japanese team that he plays for didn't want him to come. It was so depressing. I was upset, but that's part of the game. That's part of injuries are part of the game. You feel bad about it for 5 minutes, and then you got to move on. You just can't dwell on them and make them a big part of it. It's an easy excuse not to perform.
Coach, what about Calvin? Just a few days ago you were.
When I see him, I'm gonna smack him across the face for beating me. Cal's a good guy. He's a really good guy. He's hard to get mad at because he's such a nice kid, and he's an important part of what we do. Those guards have got to keep the game spread and keep the floor spread for our guys like Jun Mar and Kai and Justin to do their thing. So. Calvin's going to give me a big smile when he sees me. I'm going to give him a big frown when I see him, but we'll move on. He's a good kid.
Did he get to talk to him after game 6?
No, he just gave me a hug, and as we were walking off the floor, and I wasn't in talking mood.
Coach, talk about having Scotty back.
That's a good one. Yeah. Scotty kind of equalizes everything because we had to play, New is really our in-game stopper, and we want him to really lock into that role. So when we went to the OQT, he was still that stopper, but he had so much more that he had to worry about in terms of handling the ball. And then Dwight was played out of position because he had to be the off guard or the secondary ball handler and the backup point guard. And now Scotty's presence kind of moves everybody back into their roles. And you have that tremendous energy guy. And you can watch Scotty on video as much as you want, but until you actually get on the floor and play against him, you don't realize all the stuff that he's doing out there. And that's always a surprise for the other team. And so Scotty back, it allows New to get back into his role, maybe come off the bench and be our primary stopper, and then Dwight can really focus in on being that off guard or small forward player, which is what he's really good at, and he can get back to doing what he's really good at. So it puts us all back in comfortable roles, getting Scotty back in. Plus, Scotty's got great size for a point guard. He can defend, and New can defend, and Dwight can defend. They've got a really good defensive backcourt. And CJ is really our most athletic defender as well. So, as much as we look at these guys, I think we have a tendency to look at, wow, this guy's a really good player because he can shoot, he can do this, he can do that, do this. But our mindset is you got to be a two-way player, and frankly, you got to start with the defense, and then what you give us offense is great. And so that's our mindset, and that's why Scotty and New and Dwight fit that mindset so well, so much for us. And again, if you get a different coach, you'll have different ideas, but this is the one we go with. I think this point.
Coach, any
Yeah.
update on Benny, right?
He is still, you know, I think, I don't want to say anything about, I can't say anything about the government. But the bottom line is that his papers got delayed because of issues that were going on in the government. And so he got put on the back burner. And so he's not eligible yet, and we're still waiting for his. But I know that there's a couple of guys in the government that are helping us out, and I'm not sure I should mention their names or not. I don't know. You'd have to talk to Alp and Lilio about that. But if, you know, we're still waiting for him, and in the meantime, Anj is our backup, is our naturalized player. But we're hoping Benny still can't play until December anyway. He's coming off an injury. He can't play until December anyway. So, you know, he is definitely a candidate for the February window. And we'll take a look at that and see what happens then.
His injury.
It's something to do with the Achilles, but it's not an Achilles surgery. I think it's either calf or Achilles, something like that. Again, Richard would be more up to date on that than I would be.